And it taught me so much about giving. It taught me so much about who you give to. It taught me so much about the type of gifts you give, the sincerity with which you give. And it also taught me to accept what I am, accept where I'm positioned. You cannot be a wealthy man having a full value set of the lower class or the lumpen class. I take some values with me that I got from growing up, but I have to remember that my pop was a dope dealer. My mom was a drug addict. My grandmother worked as a domestic in the homes of white folks in the South. She's from Arkansas, grew up picking cotton. I have to realize I don't want to be any of those things. Like my goal is not to achieve any of those things. So there are some values I have to hold on to, and because they're phenomenal. That's why when I leave this beautiful hotel penthouse, I'm taking all of the toilet paper with me. That's to go. But I also realize that there are certain things that at this level are beneath me, and it got to be like that. I got to have the finest. And when I get in the right position, it puts me around the right people. And also, one thing I learned is we might speak down on brands, and I do it myself because I produce most of what you see me with. Like, Jeremy, this is custom design, MDB label, log in, boss up. But understand this. There's certain things that people in certain income classes, when they see your luggage, they can tell what kind of luggage it is. And successful people don't have cheap luggage because we travel a lot. So we spend thousands on luggage to make sure it's quality. There's certain signs and indicators that, if you're not a hustler, you're not broke, you wouldn't even understand. Just like you understand, Dre, there's certain language that you might use that'll let you know, oh, you've been a part of this lifestyle, or now you don't know a damn thing about this. I remember I was in Las Vegas. A dude walked up to me. And I know, Dre, you've probably been in a lot of these resorts as well. If you have certain chips of a certain amount, you can't cash them unless the casino has you on record as a big fish. If it's 500 or more, you cannot cash it unless the casino has a record of you as a big fish. And some of them working girls will be in there. They might peel a trick for a couple of them purple chips, them yellow chips, them chocolate, them orange chips, hand it back to a P, and he need to cash it in for some guap. But he can't go to the cashier and cash it because the casino doesn't know him as a big player. So, well, where'd you get these chips? Oh, I'm sorry, we can't cash that for you, sir. So what they have to do is find somebody else who trusts them and will cash the chips for them. So I'm out in Resorts World. Guy walks up to me. He says, "Hey man, I like them shoes, man. I know what those are going for." I said, "I appreciate it." Because, like a basic dude, they wearing J's or something like that. I got on something, a couple grand on my feet. And most people wouldn't even know. He said, "I like those." He says, "Hey, man, I need a favor for you. I got these chips and they won't let me cash them in." He pulled out the chips, man. He had some serious cake on them. And I said, "Okay, man, I could do you this favor." He said, "Yeah, no, I'll take care of you." I said, "You don't even need to." He said, "I absolutely will." I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "I'm from Chicago." I said, "I got some people in Chicago. We happen to have a mutual contact." I go cash the chips in for him. He cut me a little bit off, and it's a beautiful deal. Now, here's the thing. If he wasn't a real hustler, he wouldn't have been able to find the person who could do that for him. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like he couldn't walk up to like some average upper class white guy and say, "Hey, can you do me this favor? Cash in $50,000 in chips for me." It wouldn't have worked. So there's just certain things you're going to be attuned to, and they matter. And my assistant was the first person to start putting me on to open up my eyes to see what's there. Because sometimes you look, but you don't see.
That's good.
Shout out to Eddie. He writes, "Your woman discovers you have been dishonest multiple times." Oh, it sounds like a nigga to me. "You own it. Vow to yourself to be an honest man. Can you get your woman to see you as a top man again, or start over as your new honest self with another woman?" That's a perfect question for Dre.
Yeah, you need to get Guard the Man, bro. Replug that joint.
There it is.
You need that.
There it is.
There's a chapter.
Hold it up again, because I had this. Super chat was covering it. There you go.
Yeah, there's a chapter in Guard the Man that I talk about women noticing patterns, right? And once you have established a pattern, there's no amount of conversation, apologies, and what I will not do that will suffice. Period. You've established who you are based upon the pattern that you presented before her, right? You got to plant new seeds, live out this pattern, and you can go downstairs. I can't see you. Live out the pattern, and then let her observe the new person based upon what she can observe based upon the pattern. Once you've established a pattern, you got to do some work, right? And you can't get upset because you think, well, I did this for a month and you didn't recognize it. No, you can't do any of that, right? Because how long that you do what you did for, though, right? So, yeah, you go get guard demand so that you can understand that. You've established a pattern that's in her mind. There's no amount of anything that you're going to say that's going to make her respect you again. She could love you. I've had a lot of women with me. I said it many times before to the remnant. I've had many women that were with me that loved another man. She just didn't respect.
Listen, I'm gonna let y'all play that back when you get some free time. One thing I want to add to this question, because it's so important. I know a lot of men, unfortunately, are experiencing this. You also have to make sure that she can see the new pattern. If you actually are able to accomplish the feat of changing your pattern on a consistent basis over time, you have to make sure that she can actually see, acknowledge, and accept that you're a better man. And I can tell you, sometimes you mess it up so bad that you got to start over. I had one young lady that was so sure that she knew who I was and she could predict what I was going to do and say and how I was going to behave, that I noticed it's like she wasn't even listening when I would tell her something. She wasn't even listening. She was convinced that she understood me. And it was almost like I would be talking in her head without me actually talking. And so you have to be certain that she can see you, the new you, if you even achieve being a new man, which is challenging and improbable. And Dre's talked about honesty before. I've talked about honesty. We've all fallen short on that. But I want everyone listening to know that all virtue follows from honesty. Every other good quality you have follows from honesty. Honesty is the base of everything, telling the truth. In Boston University, and Boston University is about developing the inside of who you are. I have something called the Pyramids of Truth. If you haven't taken Boston University, I recommend it. Review the Pyramids of Truth, and I'll just give you guys a nugget. At the top is the self, telling the truth to yourself.
That's good.
Because a lot of us are deluded, right? I can't tell you how many people will say, I'm him. You're not him. You're not him. You're not him. You're just a lost nigga. You're just a lost nigga. What would make you think you're him? What's the evidence of that? Often when I'm talking to people, I say, okay, well, you're smart. What's the evidence of that? You're fill in the blank. What's the evidence of that beyond you thinking that you're that? You know what I'm saying? Like that's a wild thing, but that's the world we're in. People think that they can talk their way into some things. You talk your way into some things, but you can't talk your way into the top. Shout out to Mr. Carter, writes, peace of the saints. May I also acknowledge Bajamo, writes, the current live is fire. Came in by Venmo. Appreciate you. And I think we are all caught up there with what the people have asked. Hey, folks, take it seriously. You're hearing it from somebody who's tried and true. And Dre's not just bringing his game. He's bringing the game of his father. He's bringing the game of his forefathers. He's bringing experience, and he's lived things that you just couldn't do in the modern era. It's just not possible to redo. You hear me? Some things can only be done in a certain temporal context. It cannot be redone. Pay attention to what he says. Any closing words for the people?
Hey, man, just happy to be here with Marquett, man. That's my dude. And, kind of like what I was saying earlier about, you're not having the capacity enough to be in environments like he was like, if Trump called, we'd take the call. Even I might have, a disagreement with how I think about how he moves and all this kind of stuff. But, I always say that you don't have to agree with somebody 100% of the time in order to build with them, right? So if that situation happened, did you think I was just thinking about what I did not like about Trump? No, I was thinking about being able to bring the game to play in an environment. Since I have access, let me bring the game. Let me play in this environment, right? Where else could this lead me? But if you're always, I don't like this, I don't like that, you won't see the opportunity of the phone call itself, right? Just to this day, I could mention that he called me, right? And that already gives me access, just the call itself. You mean the president called you? Who is this guy that the president called? You see what I'm saying? So being able to see situations that you can bring the game, the knowledge to play in, it ain't always about, you ain't gonna like everybody, right? You don't need to like everybody. If that's where your mind is, you won't get far. It's not about, in business, It's hard to like a whole bunch of people. Marquett can tell you that for sure. It's
Yeah.
not about liking.
Yeah.
But can you play? Do you recognize the opportunity to be able to play? Because in business, it is scandalous. You're going to see
Yes,
the most scandalous people you've ever met, even worse in the streets, right?
Guaranteed.
So you got to play. I yield the floor to Marquett because he knows this for sure.
Guaranteed.